Alright, so even though I beat Elden Ring in this video, this is not the last episode of Elden Ring that I'll be making, because after I beat the game, I went back and fought some of the harder bosses or just optional bosses as well, that I skipped on my way to the end, and that includes Melania. So don't worry, since Melania is not in this video, that fight will be in the next video, and I'll probably post that in 3 or 4 days, so stay tuned. Anyway, first up here we have Rykard, who honestly probably the best gimmick boss in this entire franchise. Is like the Storm Ruler Yorm fight from Dark Souls 3, except I definitely think that this was better. I took 1 death on Rykard, and it was in the second phase when he did like the skull attack, and it just killed me because I had no idea what was going on. I think on my second attempt I just got lucky though and didn't die from it. So at the start he just starts out as a big snake, but then there's like a cutscene here, and he like has a human face. It's all weird, and he pulls a sword out of his mouth, I think, and grows like tentacles on his body for some reason. But anyway, this fight is definitely better than Yorm, and definitely still the best gimmick boss in the series. I'd still have preferred like a normal boss fight, but this wasn't too bad. I don't even know what he's doing now. He's spitting something out. But as you can see here, that's his human face, with the snake head like dangling behind him. And another thing I just want to mention was that sword swing, because Elden Beast did something very similar to that. It killed me a couple times, where he'll just swing, then the swing, like the sword will hit the ground, and then just stop for no reason for like a second, and then keep going and kill you. Whoever designed both of those attacks to be like that, I do not like you. You should not be designing attacks. Speaking of attacks, here's a weird skull attack that killed me the first attempt. And it looks like I just got hit by a giant fire sword in the face. And remember, at this point in the fight, I got like stuck in a corner, and just like got pretty close to dying, but then I ran away. Oh yes, something I also want to touch on briefly was, if you watched my last video, you would know that my house is getting renovated right now, and I said that to like move all my stuff, and I had to move my Xbox now, and it was already like kind of on its last legs, but now it's like running on my terrible Wi-Fi, and it is like it cannot handle some of the areas in Sekiro, which is the game that I'm playing now, at the time of recording this video, and it is kind of a pain. And another thing, I'm just going to apologise in advance. For some reason I can't record on the Wi-Fi for longer than 2 minutes, because it used to be set up with Ethernet, and the Wi-Fi speed is still terrible, but I could record for 5 minutes at a time on my Xbox now I can only record for 2 minutes, so a lot of my Sekiro videos are going to be like kind of terrible, because you're only going to be able to see the last 2 minutes of every fight. And I'll just tell you in advance at what point I had to move my thing, so you'll know when that video comes up that you'll only be seeing small amounts of the fights. It was right before Corrupted Monk and Guardian Ape. Both of those I did with the 2-minute thing. So anyway, after that like 4-minute tangent, I'm fighting Fire Giant in this clip here. I died to Fire Giant 6 times. I don't know why I was struggling with Fire Giant so much. Just has a lot of health and does a lot of damage. I definitely think this fight would have been made better if they gave Fire Giant a smaller health pool. Because it's honestly just kind of annoying. Because look how much damage that does. And I think by this point in the game I was at 60 Vigor, and I had Radagon's Sword Seal, I think. So I have a lot of Vigor here, and that's doing, in one attack, does more than half of my health bar. Which I think is a little ridiculous, considering that your attacks barely do anything. Yeah, I wasn't a massive fan of the Fire Giant fight. And after you kill the Fire Giant, you like go up to like that big bowl or something at the top of the arena. I'm not sure if you see it in the actual fight itself. Oh, there it is. Right there in the corner. That thing, and Melina comes and talks to you and dies, and then you go to Farum Azula. Yeah. I was also not a massive fan of Farum Azula. Yeah, there wasn't very many good things in Farum Azula. We'll get to that point in the video pretty soon. We just got more of the Fire Giant. In phase 2 now, and I skipped the cutscene because I had seen it before, but like on my first attempt when I beat his first phase, and what happens is he rips his leg off and like, I don't know, sacrifices it and gains fire powers. I think he's about to die. If I don't whiff, there it is. Fire Giant's dead. That fight took almost 5 minutes. Right, now for the next boss, the Godskin Duo. Right here, I forgot to count how many attempts, but if I were to make a guess, it would be in the ballpark of like maybe 14. Seems about right. Yeah, I was really struggling with this one. I do not like this fight at all. And also in this clip I've switched to Morgoth's Great Rune, because that's really good. Gives you 25% more health. So anyway, in this fight, my strategy that I tried to do was I would summon Mimic Tier and try to get the fat one to fight Mimic Tier, and I would go and kill the skinny one, the Ornstein, and because the skinny one's like pretty easy at this point in the game, like you can kill him really easy. And then after I killed him, I'd try and kill the fat one with Mimic Tear, and by the time that one's dead, the skinny one would have respawned, so then both me and Mimic Tear can focus that one and hopefully try and kill it before the fat one comes back. And then you only have to get the fat one to about half health and the boss will die. And mostly that strategy worked here, except for the start, it didn't work. There's also a thing like the Four Kings, where you can hit the body after it's already dead and it does damage to the health bar. I'm not exactly a massive fan of the Four Kings either, but that's more because of the run back. Oh, I forgot about this. I died on my winning attempt with the gold skin duo, but still counted thankfully, unlike the royal rats. Anyway, here's Malekith, who I also forgot to count, but I think this was about 6 attempts. But I do not like this boss at all. I ended up going and crafting some freeze grease to go and make this fight easier. I actually think that the Beast Clergyman phase is fun, but Malekith is not. It's just annoying, jumps around too much, does some crazy attacks, damage over time, just a lot of damage normally as well, and leaves almost no opportunities to deal damage itself with all the jumping around. I do not like that fight at all. Yeah, I think I only died on Beast Clergyman phase once, and all my other deaths were to Malekith. I mean, like, visually Malekith looks really good, but I just cannot deal with all the jumping around. Just too difficult for me. I noticed something in this game where, like, after Leyndell, there's a massive spike in difficulty. Like, the rest of this, the first bit of this game is, like, kinda easy. But then the last part of this game is honestly harder than, like, the average Souls game. Like, from maybe Fire Giant onwards. Like, this game is definitely harder than Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. It's not harder than Sekiro, I can tell you that. But it's definitely hard. So anyway, after you beat Malekith, you get this cutscene here. Where it's just the Erd tree burning, I think. Some red fire or something. And then a black screen.
Death is unbound.
I'm just gonna let this cutscene play out by itself without me talking.
And the lands between are shrouded by death's dark fate. But the flames will also burn the impenetrable thorns. Farewell it is then. You'll be Elden Lord yet.
Alright, I'm back. Now we have Gideon, who has turned bad because he doesn't want us to become Elden Lord or something. Yeah, this boss is just annoying more than anything. It's like a mimic tier. So I died twice to it. Definitely the most annoying thing about this fight is that he can heal. Like that, he did it there, and he heals for like more than half his health, I think. And sometimes he just spams magic and gets away. I think my mimic even killed him there. Yeah, this boss kinda sucked. And after that, he has a massive speech, which lasts about as long as the fight itself. But thankfully, it's followed up by probably the second best boss in this entire game, and that's real Godfrey. Yeah, I personally think he's the second best boss in the entire game. Definitely a very fun fight. I died 3 times, 2 of which was just like the opening move of, first time I died on the opening move of phase 1, he just insta-killed me. Second time I died was on the opening move of phase 2, with a big grab. I wasn't expecting that. Third time I can't remember how I died, but fourth time I killed him. Yeah, this fight is definitely better than the golden guy in like Gideon's arena. I like Horaloo as well, like as the second phase of the fight. I think he's pretty fun, even though he does have very high damage. All of his moves are able to be dodged consistently, if you get the timing down right. Apparently my mimic can't dodge it. If I ever like replay this game, I wouldn't summon for this fight, at least, because honestly I think it would just be really fun to do it normally. So anyway, after I did this fight, I did a couple attempts at Radagon, but it was way too hard. So I just ended up going back and beating a couple more bosses to get some more stuff, before I ended up being able to kill him, and it was just a summon that killed him. Like, I just really hate Elden Beast. Radagon is my favourite fight in the entire game, but Elden Beast is actually one of the worst. It's so unbearable. So I just went back and got Tish as a summon, and Tish carried me through Elden Beast. But honestly, it just makes me angry that had the best fight in the entire game, Radagon, and then follow it up with just really, I don't think there's really any redeeming qualities for Elden Beast. Yeah. Talk about that more when we get to that fight. But anyway, if you've ever played Elden Ring before and gotten Tish, you know that you have to kill the gargoyles and Astel to get it. Gargoyles, first try, came into the fight, like, literally at the end of the game. They weren't going to kill me. It just wasn't going to happen. Astel, get to that in a bit. Also with the gargoyles, you can clearly see that they've tried to do the same things as bell gargoyles, where when you get the first one at half health, the second gargoyle comes in. They definitely did the gargoyle fight best in Dark Souls 1. like, they haven't been able to replicate that one. Anyway, here's Astel. Visually, this is one of the coolest looking bosses in the whole game, but like mechanically, it sucks. It's atrocious. I got it on my first try, somehow. Honestly, Elden Ring just has a lot of bad bosses, and has very few good ones. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say, to be honest. So here's Astel, and kind of looks like the DNA guy from Jurassic Park. Uses gravity magic and teleports, and does that, and just snipes you from across the arena, then teleports again. It's just, I'm very, very glad that this is scaled for like a mid-game, so I can just stomp him at end-game stats. Even though I'm pretty sure I've still used every single one of my flasks. Honestly, I never even noticed that he had wings. I just noticed that in the recording now. He just spams a lot of annoying magic attacks. I really hate bosses that just use ranged magic. It's so annoying. Like Gideon. I do not like him. The most bearable one, I would say, of just the magic spammers is like the magic phases in Soul Cinder. They're not too bad. There's only like one really annoying attack that Soul Cinder does in the magic phases, which is like the one with where he makes his sword magic and bigger, and he can like shoot out a magic blast at the same time, so like you can't roll through both and you're guaranteed to get hit, but that only happens sometimes. He's definitely the best example of like a good caster. Anyway, Estelle's dead, and now we're on to Radagon and Elden Beast. As you can see, I got a little question mark for the attempt number. I want you all to guess how many attempts this fight took me. I'll give you some clues. It took me the most attempts out of any boss in this entire franchise up to this point. So, before this, most attempts was from Royal Rat Authority at 29. I'll also give you another hint. I beat Radagon on my first attempt. Alright? Everyone made their guesses in the comments. 44 attempts. 43 deaths. I think 8 out of 10 times on my first 10 attempts, I actually beat Radagon and got to Elden Beast. I know I definitely did on my first attempt. But Radagon's like actually fun, so I didn't mind fighting him too much. Elden Beast is atrocious. Because we're at Elden Beast now, Radagon's dead. I'll tell you what killed me almost every single time with Elden Beast. So you know how he does that ring attack, right? Yeah? And you know how he does Elden Stars? Well, he did that, both of those attacks, at the same time, on almost every single attempt. I think there are about maybe 5 attempts that I didn't die to Elden Stars stun locking me so I couldn't jump over the rings. I think I died to AoEs like 3 times and died to the delayed sword swing twice. Every single other death that I took to Elden Beast was from that combination. I don't know if that's just like atrocious luck or if it's programmed to do that, but if it's programmed to do that, I actually don't know how you're supposed to beat this boss without Tish. No, I really don't, because that's an insta-kill at 60 vitality with Radagon's Source Seal and Morgoth's Great Rune. Just like the most health that is like reasonable. Elden Beast also just has a bunch of annoying attacks like this one. That I think, I don't know what that's called. I've been calling it Elden Ring. And there's Elden Stars right there, he just cast it. But I think the closest I ever got without Tish was down to a quarter health on Elden Beast. Yeah, this fight is actually irredeemable. It took me 3 days. And in the end, I'm pretty sure my summon killed it. It's just the worst ending this game could have possibly had. Anyway, fight's almost over. Elden Ring's almost over. But as I said, don't worry, Melania fight will be in my next video, along with like all the other bosses that you get an achievement for. And with that, Elden Ring has been beaten. I know that I complained a lot in this video, but this really is a great game. I know it probably doesn't feel like that with how much complaining I've been doing, but yeah, it really is a very good game. I chose this ending here. Also, when I beat the final boss, I was at 72 hours into the game, and I spent 5 hours on that final boss, but 72 hours to get to this point. And maybe like another 5 or 10 to do the extra bosses I did at the end. But yeah, don't have too much else to say. I'll see you guys in the next one.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall an age of fracture.